So, here are the numbers. Yeah, that's 2 months after releasing my first game on Steam. And honestly, I'm not going to pretend that doesn't bother me. What happened, happened. It was, and still is, a learning experience. And I'm making this video to share some insights. For the unaware, I'm Laur. 2 months ago I released a small game on Steam, and today I want to share a bit with you what I believe had happened, what I did wrong, and what I'm going to do differently the next time. And I hope this helps someone else from making the same mistakes I did. What was the goal? Before we talk about what went wrong, I want to be upfront about something. My goal with this game was never to get rich, it was never to go viral. My goal was to learn, to actually ship and finish something, to go through the whole process from development to release to marketing and come out to the other side with experience I couldn't get any other way. And in that sense, I actually succeeded. But that doesn't mean I can be honest about where I fell to the short side of the stick. Steam has a system called Steam Curators, basically a bunch of people and channels who review and recommend games to their followers. And I didn't really use it as much because I was cautious. I was worried about getting scammed, about sending out keys that would go nowhere, and the risk what would bring. That costed me visibility. I should have been way more generous with the keys. I should have said yes to more creators and take more risks and accepted that some of those keys were going to be wasted. Lesson learned. Don't be so overprotective of something which holds no value to keep. My initial goal was to reach to about 200 content creators and press, but in the end I ended up reaching to about 15. Why? Because it was hard to find the right people. You couldn't reach a chef, the person which cooks for a living, for a review of the game. I mean you could, but doesn't mean that you should. As it takes a lot of time for no reason. But if I'm being honest, I think I also underestimated how important this step was and I moved on too quickly. If I remember correctly, at some point I wanted to use a small mail merge service to send those mails for me. Advice from a future me, don't use no-name mail merge services. I ended up merging the mails and sending them manually myself. And something else I had learned much later, about 1 month after I have released the game, is that I have to warm up the mail, which sounds crazy to me. And if I don't, there is a high chance the mail will end up in spam. Syntax. When you make a game, you see it through your eyes. You know what inspired it, what it's about, what features it has, but the players don't know any of that context. They see what they want to see. I didn't do a good enough job thinking about how someone who has never heard of me would discover and describe my game. Tags are everything, how Steam connects your game to the right audience, and if they're not accurate or optimized, like it is to my game, you are invisible to the people who would actually want to enjoy the game. Age rating, I rated the game as mature as in 16 plus when the game really isn't. That also restricted a lot of visibility. It filters the game for a portion of the audience. Pricing, my only real cost for this game was the developer fee, which is about $100. So I priced the game very low because I generally wanted to offer something that felt like a great value for money. I wanted the players to feel like they were getting more than they paid for. But having a low price, that doesn't mean price equals quality. When the game is priced low, some players assume it's very low effort, even if it isn't. The price I set may have worked against the perception I was trying to create. This doesn't mean I should have priced it high, but I think there's a middle ground I missed and I'll be more careful the next time. Well, I also didn't run any ads, and if I had, the cost of releasing the game would have doubled, maybe even tripled. And I'm not sure that's a trade-off I'm willing to take. In general, I don't think players want to play a game which has more ads than gameplay. The size of the game. The game is small because it's packed with features. Things I really worked hard on, systems are genuinely proud of, and that takes a lot of work. But players don't buy into the systems, but what feels rewarding. A feature has to communicate its value to the players clearly. If it doesn't, it might as well not exist. Not for myself, the next time think what makes my game special, not just build it and hope the people find it. Build a niche. First impressions. My friends played the game and they loved it. That felt great, and I also got some valuable feedback which was mostly positive. And some felt the visuals were rushed even if they know it wasn't. From the very first build test to the demo to the current release, I did a lot of changes to that visual, and I think it's in a great space right now. It's fine. Some people don't have to agree with everything, that's the reality. And it's good to take notes from the negative feedback, because that helps a lot. But the players don't know. They know what they see in the maybe first 5 seconds of seeing the game for the first time. Also, there is something else I want to address. As you may know, I have used AI with the code, and a lot of people have a strong opposition about it. I understand all of it, but here is my stand. Without it, the game will not exist, and it will not reach where it is today. I'm one person. I use the tools available to me to create something you can play right now on Steam. Honest reflection. A few things I did wrong or I could have done better. I want to be clear, none of this is disappointing. I'm proud of what I built, I'm proud of the progress and that I shipped it. Not everyone does. Most people who start making a game never finish it, but look, I did. And I think the most valuable thing I can do right now for myself and maybe for you, if you are still watching this, is to look at this mistake clearly and name them loud. So, it's fine. You are humans. We make mistakes. That's the progress. Okay, so what's next? While I don't have a roadmap and I'm still figuring it out, I want to keep working on my approach, outreach, coverage, that sort of things, before, not after. On my next project, I will think more clearly about how it's presented from day one. Tags, pricing, visuals, first impression, all of it needs more clarity. Now, this is the part where you come in. I genuinely want to hear from you. If you've been through something similar, or if you release a game or a project and learn something the hard way, or if you are still watching this and have some ideas or suggestions what I could implement into a game. Obviously, it should be reasonable. I want to hear them in the comments. I read them and think about them. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and if this video was useful to you in any way, you know what to do. See you next time.